play was written in 1989. It was a follow-up. I'd had a successful play at the Warehouse at Croydon, and they had the rights to the next, or an option on the next play that I wrote. I wrote Private Member, and eventually I was told by the management of the theatre that they didn't want to do it, partly because gay isn't bankable, and secondly, because they had local authority funding, and the implication was that they couldn't do a crusading play. If this is a crusading play, I hope it comes across as a comedy that has been crusading. It's a black comedy that has been crusading in its background. The play has one set, so I'm just going to describe the set so that you can imagine it, because the 6 characters just come in and out of this one set. It should be clear when people are arriving, whatever. Play has one set as realistic as possible. It is the flat which Robin and Tim share in the Barbican complex, which was a swisher place to live then as it is now. The main stage area shows the main living room. As you look at it, there are large windows on the left looking out over a view which is discussed but not visible to the audience. In the corner above that is a lobby area with a front door leading out into a larger lobby area, which leads into the area outside with the lift, where there are front doors to several other flats, including that of Marty. In the center of the stage is a large sofa. There are also chairs by the window. In the corner on the right is the door to Robin and Tim's bedroom. Apart from the sofa, there are various chairs around the room. The visiting characters tend to use the sofa or the chairs by the window. A lot of the time, Tim in particular tends to be dealing with making sure people have drinks. Warning, this play does contain a lot of alcohol. Robin tends to perch on the edge of the sofa or nearby rather than ever settling anywhere in particular. The play is very much a conversation piece. The script has a fairly precise choreography of who is sitting where, but the important thing is the interaction between the characters. So for the purposes of the reading, I've cut out most of the stage directions. All you need to know in the first act is that Robin and Tim are waiting for guests fairly late in the evening, as we can tell from the lighting. Those guests arrive. They are joined eventually by Marty, who lives next door. A while later, several of the characters go next door to Marty's flat, returning after a while. Exits after that should be easy enough to follow because visitors say goodnight, etc. And there are various points where telephones are used for this evening. We were going to pretend that everyone in the 1980s had mobile phones, but in fact, the cast have been clever with stuff, so we don't need to bother about that. Let the play commence.
Oh, right. Take it away, Marty. October the 15th, 1983, yes. Robin asked me around after the show to meet these people, this woman from his constituency and her rather dishy son, and her husband. Stockbroker, was he? I'm not sure I ever really knew what he did, or his name. Began with an R. Reg. I never forget a face, if it's good looking. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Well, Robin asked me to meet them, and I'd arranged to go out to the subway. No, I'm wrong. Well, I did arrange to go to the subway, but with Dave Trevelyan. That's right. He'd been to see the show that night. I hadn't seen him for years, so we arranged to go out sleazing together. We'd had that really hot week in New York.
October 15th, 1983 was the night I went to see that stupid show with what's-his-name Marty was in with Mummy, with my mother and father. And then we went back to Robin and Tim's flat for drinks. I don't remember much about it, which is hardly surprising as I got utterly legless. If it's there, drink it. I had some bloody essay to do the next morning too. I was going to do it that evening. Mama thought I hated academic work. She was always calling me lazy. That's not really true. I just got pissed off with her being on at me all the time. I tried to pull the phone out of the wall once, but Stuart stopped me. I was a bit pissed and she'd rung up about something. I could live without a telephone. People can come and find me if they're that keen.
October 15th, 1983, isn't it? Oh, poor old Beattie was trying to... Oh, with you, I'm still not quite sure what she thought she'd achieve with David by our all going out together like that. I quite enjoyed the show. Well, I'm not one of those for those modern musicals. No, I like what I call a good tune. Beattie and I went to see that Fiddler on the Roof just after it opened. Now that's full of what I call good tunes. Sing it in the bath, you know? And she had to leave David, of course. There was a period there when she really hated to do that. Oh, not for long, though.
I didn't care for the show very much. What? Oh, yes, October 15th, 1983. As I said, I didn't care for the show very much, though, of course, I didn't actually meet Marty Mattison until later that evening. I thought David would enjoy it, that was all. He always enjoyed theatre when he was a little boy. And Robin was an absolute darling and said we could go round and meet Marty Mattison at their place. Well, I was never very keen on him on stage. Not that I'd really seen him do that much.
October 15th, 1983. I didn't really think that much about it. Invited Beatrice round. They'd been to the flat before. Well, no, actually Reg hadn't. But Beatrice had, and David when he was a bit younger, because Tim hadn't met Reg. I always felt I had to keep on the right side of Beatrice, of course. Useful in the constituency, and with her Fleet Street connection. And a friend of my mother, too. I'd known her since I was tiny. They'd wanted me to be a page at their wedding, Beatrice once said.
Oh, yes. Well, anyway, Robbo said I wouldn't mind coming in after the show if I wasn't doing anything else, because this woman, Beatrice, was going to see the show and they were going to come back to Rob and Timo's place for coffee. So I said, coffee? And he said, oh, maybe something stronger. Well, Robbo thinks I drink too much. Drank? I don't know. I can hold it. Anyway, not like that David that night. He had a skinful and a half. Mind you, I can hardly blame the kid the way his mother went on. Typical woman. Oh, yes. That was one of the nights Miss McRae was on splendid form, too. Lindy McRae. Wouldn't work with her again for all the men in heaven. Anyway, I wasn't going out till later, so I thought, you know, why not help out a friend? Robbo and Timo were good friends. We'd become friendly since living next door.
I was doing the wrong subject, of course. Christ, if you'd have thought that with her being so keen on Saturnor, she would have had me doing the sciences. I loved science lessons, the mathematics of it all. But she pushed me into the arts when I was 13. Everybody always wants to please their bleeding mothers. By the time I realised that I'm doing the wrong thing, I'm up at university reading English and history, but not at Oxford.
Anyway, to cut a long story short, as it were, by the time David's 20, we're having all this got to keep the family together business. I don't know to this day really what caused it. Well, anyway, she tells me we've got tickets to see this show, and Robin's a friend of the chap who's taking the lead part, and we're going to Robin's flat to meet him afterwards, and that'll be good for David. I don't know where she gets her ideas from half the time. Women.
Not the kind of thing that I usually go and see. I prefer the opera, or, well, the ballet, if I'm being really honest. But I thought it would be a treat for David for us to take him out and then meet the star of the show. Something for him to tell his college friends about. Mind you, that's Stuart. I thought we'd have a spot of dinner first, but Reg couldn't leave the office till late, and David told me that he'd got a tutorial at 5:30. I was never quite sure that I believed him.
A friend of my mother, too. I'd known her since I was tiny. They'd wanted me to be a page at their wedding, Beatrice said once.
October 15th, 1983. Was that the night they all came over? Beatrice and David and Reg. And Marty was doing that show. I can't remember the name of it. Sort of revival thing.
As I said,
Yes.
I wasn't going out till later that night, so I thought, why not help out a friend? Porto and Timo was good friends. So we become friendly, living next door to one another.
You do that to mock me.
I'm doing it because it's what you always wanted, Mother. It's what you always wanted me to do.
Robin would never have...
No.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Tim, you still have the floor. Will you give way?
No. October 15th, 1983. The end of the Conservative Party conference week. Maggie Thatcher's 58th birthday week. Leon Breton was still Home Secretary, but Cecil Parkinson had been forced to resign after Sarah Keyes, his ex-secretary, had published a long article in the Times about her relationship with him, which had culminated in her pregnancy. Stop it, Robin. Lech Wałęsa had just won the Nobel Peace Prize. Sir Ralph Richardson had just died. It seems like yesterday. Not now. Stop it. I like it.
I thought
They'll be here any moment.
I thought you liked it. What were you doing?
Just looking at the view. Actually, I was trying to get rid of the NatWest Tower by power of telepathy.
Philistine. It's a wonder of modern architecture.
Yes. You look at it and wonder why anyone let them build it. I don't want to talk about it. And I don't want to talk about it again when they get here.
B hates it.
I know that. Every time she comes here, we have the same discussion. She sides with me against you on it. I think it makes her feel sort of cozy with the boys.
I don't remember.
What do you remember?
I remember that I love you, you silly boy. My, aren't we sensitive?
Don't stop. Don't stop. More, please.
Want to come into the bedroom for
No, they'll be here in a minute.
Well, I'd better stop then. Otherwise, you'll become so demanding, I'll have to have you here on the living room floor. And what will all those nice ladies from the constituency say when B tells them about walking in and finding us doing it like dogs on the nice old Axminster that Ma gave us?
It's calling Barbara Woodhouse the housebreakers. Walkies! Barbara Woodhouse isn't one of your constituents, is she?
Well, there were times last week when I began to believe that every single woman at the party conference was a Barbara Woodhouse clone. Except B, of course. Oh, what's the time?
10:30.
What time does the show end?
It comes down at about 10:20.
Comes down, eh?
Oh, that's what Marty always says. He has his half at 7:15.
Oh, bet he has more than a half.
It stands for half an hour. Half an hour before...
It was a joke.
Oh. Huh. Well, anyway, he has his half at 7:15. It goes up at 7:45 and comes down at 10:20.
Unless that what's-her-name has been putting extra bits in.
Unless that what's-her-name has been putting extra bits in. Lindy McRae.
Come here. I'll put some extra bits in you.
What do the neighbours say? What do the neighbours say?
What, do you mean Marty?
Well, no. I know what he'd say. He'd want to join in. I've got to go and get some snacks out. Not that we've got much.
You should have got some more then.
I'm not the bloody child, you know. It was your turn.
Perhaps you think it would have been better if I hadn't gone to the conference at all. I'm sorry, Margaret. I can't come to the conference. It's my turn to do the shopping.
You got back a week ago.
I've been having a busy week of debriefing.
I'll debrief you.
Please, please.
Well, you know, I had a busy week this week too. We've got all the Christmas stock coming in. Edward's kept me on late on Monday, Tuesday.
No big deal.
Bastard.
Don't you throw peanuts at me.
Open wide. Oh, well caught. You better not let Margaret Thatcher know you've got such a big mouth, or she'll never give you a job on the cabinet.
Was that the lift?
They'd be here by now if it had been.
What time did you say they'd be here?
I've told you 20 zillion million times this evening already.
I'm sorry, you got me all excited and went out of my feathery little brain.
Can I have that in writing? I still don't see why you couldn't just arrange for them to go backstage and meet Marty in his dressing room.
What, with God knows what screaming queens visiting him?
You seem to not mind the little number who was there the night we went.
You're not going to forget that, are you? In a way, it's quite different with B, David, and what's his name?
His name is Reg.
I know.
B's husband's name is Reg. I noticed you didn't forget her son's name.
You're the one who fancied David.
Oh, I could take him or leave him.
Well, you'd better leave him. I can't imagine B's face if he...
I'm sure he is.
You're sure everyone is.
No, that's Marty. Marty's sure everyone is.
Marty's not only sure everyone is, he spends most of his time making sure that they are.
I'll tell him that.
Not till after they're gone.
I'm not stupid, you know.
You don't have to talk to me as if I'm an idiot. I happen to be a member of Parliament.
I don't see that means you can't be an idiot. Look at some of the people you work with.
I hope Marty doesn't pick anyone up on the way over here.
Oh, I would have thought one or maybe even two would be inevitable.
You...
Well, of course not. Marty will be his usual utterly charming offstage self.
Yes, that idea worries me too. Don't give him too much to drink.
You're getting cold feet about this, aren't you? If this is how you feel, I don't know why you just didn't tell them to go and meet Marty backstage.
I told you the whole idea is for them all to have a good evening out. He's worried about David.
They need a family therapist.
Oh, don't be so bloody daft. Anyway, that's what we're doing.
I don't see what the Pembridge's family problems are anyway.
B's worried that David's growing away from them.
Oh, God, he is 19.
20.
Well, there you are then. Like most people, he's gone to university to get away from his parents. Anyway, I thought your darling Maggie was always going on about how the family is impregnable.
She's never said that. Anyway, I don't want Marty getting drunk.
Look, there are 2 bottles of fizz and then that's it. After that, I'll offer coffee.
It's nearly 10 too.
Maybe their car wouldn't start. Maybe there's a lot of traffic. I'm not sure I 100% trust B, you know.
She's a darling. B's more fun than all the other women in the constituency party rolled together.
I'm never quite sure that she approves of me.
She adores you. She adores our little secret life up here in the ivory tower. She loves the conspiracy.
I think B likes having a sort of hold on you.
I hardly think coming up here for the occasional coffee
Or half a bottle of gin.
or half bottle of gin counts as having a hold on me.
No, I'm sure she wants something else. You can always tell when B wants something else by the way she kisses you when she comes in. If it's a family friend visit, she gives you a big hug. And if she wants something, she proffers her cheeks to be kissed like this and leads you into the room.
You're getting paranoid.
Paranoid about what?
Well, don't ask me. You're the one who's paranoid.
I'm not paranoid. I just said...
Look, B is one of the oldest friends I've got. She...
I thought she was a friend of your mother's.
Oh, if you're going to be childish.
But I only said...
Is that the lift?
Sounds like it.
I spy strangers.
Sorry to be such an age. Reg had parked miles from the theatre.
Well, you're here now anyway. Timothy?
Hello, Tim. You've met Reg, haven't you?
No, I don't believe I...
Reginald Pembridge, pleased to...
Shall I take your coats?
Everyone calls him Reg.
Despite the fact he hates it.
Take your coat off, David. We are staying.
Shall I take your coat, Reg?
Oh, thank you.
Timothy, would you...
Here, let me put the coats in the bedroom.
Come and sit down. Now, can I offer you a glass of champagne?
Champagne, my dear. We are going up in the world.
Well, we thought, you know. Reg?
Won't say no.
He never can.
David?
Yes, all right.
David?
Thanks.
I think that's champagne for everyone, Tim.
Including the staff. Goff.
A woman's work is never done, is it, Tim?
Can I do anything to help? Ta-da!
One bottle in my ice bucket, 6 glasses. What were you saying, B?
I said a woman's work is never done.
Or the occasional man's.
Spectacular view you've got.
Robin was really lucky to get one of these Barbican flats.
Yes, we were. Could you bring out the peanuts from the kitchen, Rob?
All right. He had them hidden from me.
We're a tiny bit short.
Oh, don't worry about us. We ate before the show.
Is that the NatWest Tower?
How could the bloody thing be anything else?
Nuts, B.
Oh, not for me. I'm supposed to be on a diet this week.
Oh, no champagne then.
Well, just a smidgen.
Twist her arm.
Oh, I say, Moe and Shandon, the real thing then.
Nothing but the best.
Now we know what an MP's salary goes on.
Well, Tim brought this, actually.
Yes, how's the new job going, Tim?
Tim does all the shopping, while some people are gallivanting off to Blackpool.
And he doesn't even get brought a stick of Blackpool rock. Don't give her any more.
For you, B.
Oh, you've got the cork out perfectly. Reg always gets it all over everywhere.
What?
I was just saying, you're hopeless with a champagne cork.
Well, we don't have it very often.
More's the pity.
No, I'm not that keen on champagne, if the truth...
Oh, would you rather have...
No. It's just...
I mean, there's whiskey or gin or some vodka.
No, this is delicious. I just meant that...
I'd like a vodka.
David, you most certainly...
No, if he'd like.
No, certainly not. Where are your manners?
Well, there's no trouble.
As long as you don't let Marty know we've got a full bottle of vodka in the kitchen. Then...
Bought it back from Greece.
Well, got it in the duty free.
Does he tend to drink then, Marty?
A bit.
Less than Moby Dick. But not that much.
Actors.
What?
Well, there's a lot of it in that business, isn't there?
And that's the pot calling the kettle black. Look at all the people in your business, naming no names. Our doctor has told him if he doesn't listen, if he's not careful...
I'm sure Robin and Timothy don't want to know all about my medical history, Beatrice.
You'll be sorry. He'll be sorry. You just stick to champagne. You'll be a darn sight better off than with all the scotch.
Do you want a tonic with that, David?
Oh, really, Robin? You boys... You shouldn't encourage him.
You're only young once. Do you want some tonic?
It's
okay as it is.
Straight.
He drinks far too much for a boy of his age. I rang up last Saturday morning, and that steward who shares his flat said he was hungover again.
Straight is great.
Straight vodka. You're not becoming a communist, are you, comrade?
He's only doing it to annoy.
Wonderful, isn't it? All my taxes going on educating my son to be a communist.
I'm not a communist.
I shouldn't worry too much. We all get a bit radical at your age.
I'm surprised you can remember.
Back in the knife box, Miss Sharp.
Anyway, I'm with you all the way, comrade. Cheers.
Well, I shan't drink to that. I shall drink to the Conservative Party in the House of Commons. Cheers.
You're not really a communist, are you?
I'm not a communist.
I used to be. Well, sort of.
He says he's sort of Labour, sort of sometimes, but he's sort of quite attractive even so, don't you think?
What did you think of the show?
Oh, jolly good.
I didn't think it was as good as they're all making out.
David?
I don't know why they have to revive things like that. I think theatre is
He was very good, though, your friend.
Looking forward to meeting him. Now, I wouldn't mind meeting that Lindy, what's her name now?
Oh, I don't think the boys share your sexual fantasies, Reg.
She's good, though, isn't she? Marvellous dancer.
That isn't what you said at the time.
I should tell you that Marty's not so keen on her.
Rob, supposed to be sworn to secrecy on that.
Well...
Did you enjoy the conference, B? Or did the Cecil Parkinson business spoil it for you?
Oh, poor bugger.
He's not the one who's pregnant.
The press got all of that out of proportion. We weren't terribly aware of it, were we, Robin? I thought the conference was very impressive. A fine end to the first 100 years.
100
It was
years.
the 100th party conference, I told you.
If you weren't aware of the Parkinson business, it's funny. That's funny, that is, because that's all you could talk about to all the other women at the theatre.
We bumped into Dorothy Rose and her mother at the interval.
And you didn't talk about anything but the Cecil Parkinson and Sarah Keys and
all
of that.
over the papers. Naturally, she asked me about it when she found out I'd been at the conference.
You were the one who brought it up.
That's not true, David.
Dad and I had to stand there and listen.
And don't contradict your mother.
Robin, did I tell you that I went to that fringe meeting on the Greenbelt on the Wednesday?
Oh, is that why you missed the youth training debate?
Oh, not really my sort of thing.
Mum's not really interested in the unemployed.
I'm not interested in subsidising scroungers.
Have you ever really met a scrounger?
Have you ever really met someone unemployed?
How was that Greenbelt meeting? I really should have been there.
They had that man from the Council for the Protection of Rural England. I like him.
Yes, I met him at the...
It does worry me, you know. Little by little, England's green and pleasant land is being eaten into.
Well, they have to build new houses once they've sold off all the council houses.
I think you may have a point there. People have got to have a roof over their head. I can't remember. Were you in on the housing policy session?
I'd slipped off to have tea with Gwendolyn Dangerfield.
Oh, God. Was that when...
I'd horsewhip them all myself
if no one else would.
Is that the woman you were telling me about?
I think you're both being very mean.
Oh, ha, ha.
Oh, well, her heart's in the right place.
Right. To the right of Genghis Khan.
I think you may have a point there too, David.
You've met her?
Oh, the Dangerfields only live over in the next...
Well, she only goes up for the law and order debate, you know. If they do ever manage to bring back capital punishment, she'll be lost.
Hagging's too good.
Oh, Robin, stop it. You're terrible.
Oh, Gwen.
More champagne, B?
Oh, twist my arm.
She says, holding out her glass.
Reg?
Oh, just
Don't give him too much. He is driving. I must admit, the Parkinson...
I knew you'd come back to it.
Oh, Reg, don't encourage him.
Oh, I'm sorry, old.
I mean, it was the major news of the week. I'm surprised that the Times should behave like the gutter press.
If you weren't loving every minute of it, then why didn't you ring Uncle Clifford?
I don't see what he could have done about it.
You're always bragging about our Fleet Street connections and all the strings you could pull if you wanted to.
That's not true, David. It's his poor wife I feel sorry for.
What about Sarah Keys?
She knew perfectly well what she was getting herself into.
He should resign as an MP.
He has resigned, hasn't he?
I mean as an MP.
Oh, don't be so... Let him who is without sin. You can't expect a man to be perfect. I don't see that anyone's private life is of any concern to anyone if he does his job well.
Hear, hear.
Anyway, it's clear the kind of woman she is.
Oh, she wouldn't give in to having an abortion.
She shouldn't have got pregnant in the first place.
How old is he?
Drop more vodka, David?
Parkinson?
Yes.
Oh, he must be in his early 50s, I suppose. I have to say, he's rather nice looking. I can see what she saw in him.
Beatrice Pembridge. And after what you said to me on the prom.
Well, he is.
What did she say to you on the prom?
Where did you get that drink, David?
She was complaining because this rather nice young man from the YCs gave me the eye.
Says you. Don't give David any more, Robin.
B claimed that he was looking at her, and then she gave me this big lecture about how she never looked at men sexually.
I think maybe I need a stronger drink.
So that's the real subject of debate at the Tory party conference.
You should tell him to be more careful, though, Tim. We don't want our Robin to have to resign before he gets anywhere.
Well, I'm hardly like to get my secretary pregnant, B.
Oh, I saw you chatting to the Prime Minister.
When?
In the corridor, just after Michael Heseltine's speech.
You didn't tell me about that.
Oh, it wasn't anything.
She doesn't speak to all the backbenchers. You must be very proud of him.
Yes, I am.
I wonder what's happened to Marty.
He was jolly good in the show. I must say, I like that Lindy What's-it too.
So you've already said.
Well, I thought she was really excellent.
I think anyone could play that part.
Well, I don't exactly think you could.
I meant any actress.
And if I said black is white, you'd argue with me.
If you said what?
I said, if I said black is white, you'd argue with me.
Yes, I would.
Yes, well, so would I, I'm afraid, B.
What?
You said black is white.
What?
You said, if I said black is white, you'd argue with me.
Well, he would.
Oh, never mind.
And this is the woman who wants to become local party chairperson.
Chairman, we don't have a...
David.
That sounds like a lift. Shall I open another bottle?
Yes. Good idea. Marty. Oh, okay. He's just popping into his flat for a moment.
Is his flat the same as this?
Oh, pretty much.
I still think Parkinson should resign.
Oh, for heaven's sake, can't we drop the subject?
You're the one who always wants to talk about it.
I'll wait till Marty comes in before I pop the second cork. Oh, sorry, did I interrupt something?
The ever-popular Cecil Parkinson.
It is a fascinating question, isn't it? I mean, I've been looking at the letters in the papers. There are so many points of view on it. Some people think if he's been deceptive in his personal life, it means he could be deceptive in political.
Well, he hasn't really been deceptive, has he? I mean, he told the Prime Minister back in July, just after the election.
And before Sarah Keys's bump started to show.
Oh, David.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Well, about him telling the Prime Minister, I mean.
Oh, it definitely is.
Oh, do you have inside information?
Oh, Robbie, do tell.
Well, I only really know what I've read in the papers.
Oh.
Was it Martin?
Yes, he's just popped into his flat for a moment.
He has a rather better view than we do.
Well, anything would be better than looking out on that thing.
Yes. It's awful, isn't it?
You know, it is part of the responsibility of the job to keep out of trouble, though, really.
What?
Oh, I've no doubt that the chap was faced with temptation. I mean, we all are from time to time. But in his position, I think you have to consider things a bit more carefully than the man in the street.
Reg, we've none of us got the foggiest idea what on earth you're talking about.
Well, this Parkinson business.
Oh, God.
Am I suddenly not entitled to an opinion?
So when are you faced with temptation?
What?
You said that everyone is faced with temptation. When are you ever faced with temptation?
Oh, invite that Lindsay what's-her-name over and I'll show you.
I'm afraid we can't manage that, Reg, but it sounds like we've got the next best thing. Can I introduce? This is Beatrice and Reg Pembridge and their son, David.
Hi, everyone.
Nice to meet you. We really enjoyed the show.
You said you thought it was overrated.
I oughtn't to agree with you. It's quite fun, though, isn't it?
I must say I liked, what's her name? Lindy McRae.
She is good, isn't she?
Champagne?
Oh, please. What were you giggling about?
Nothing.
Wouldn't you be more comfortable on the sofa? Move up, Reg.
I'm fine.
I thought that bit with you and the umbrellas was awfully good.
Yes.
What happens if you really get soaked?
Ah, trade secrets. There was one night in the previews, though. Oh, thanks, Timmy. Well, cheers. Nice to meet you.
Oh, dear.
Cheers.
Robbo tells me you were up at the conference with him.
Yes.
You're not an MP, though, are you?
Me? Oh, heavens, no. Just a delegate.
Would you like to be an MPB?
Heaven forbid.
How was the conference?
Well, I found it pretty interesting.
Was it your first time?
Oh, no. Of course, the Parkinson business rather scooped all the press.
Parkinson?
Marty never reads the papers.
That's not true. It's just the last couple of weeks I've been really busy with the
Oh,
show.
yeah. Well, you would have missed the big news that Parkinson resigned then.
Really?
Honestly, Marty.
Well, I must have missed it.
He got his secretary pregnant.
What?
It was on the front page of the Times.
I thought he'd had a vasectomy.
What?
I remember hearing him talking about it on TV. It clearly can't have worked. So he won't be doing Desert Island Discs anymore then?
What?
No, not... Oh,
What? Did I?
no, not Michael Parkinson, you idiot.
What?
This is Cecil Parkinson.
The Trade and Industry Secretary.
Oh, him.
The former Trade and Industry Secretary.
I really must try and read the papers more.
Yeah, you should. Or perhaps not.
Oh, stay as sweet as you are.
Still, I'll bet there's nothing like a bit of scandal to liven up a conference, eh? I'm sorry I couldn't get over here sooner. Somebody came backstage after the show who I hadn't seen for yonks, and I couldn't get rid of them. You know what it's like, all the gossip.
Another actor?
Yes, David Trevelyan. You know him?
Oh, we don't know any actors.
Oh, we met Sir Alec and Lady Guinness at Moira and Henry's.
He's wonderful, isn't he?
Do you know him?
Well, not really, only his work. Did you see Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy?
We watched a couple of episodes.
I couldn't really understand it.
Oh, it was marvellous.
Was David Trevelyan in the Lloyd George thing on TV?
I don't know, he might have been. I worked with him in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh, were you in that?
Yes. Did you see it?
No. David went to Evita.
I hated it.
You enjoyed it at the time.
I didn't really.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that Lloyd George thing was jolly good.
Did you see it, Robin?
Didn't realise he was such a womanizer.
Really? We missed it. We don't seem to get too much time to watch television.
I thought they rather overdid it. He spent more time leaping in and out of bed than he did.
Well, I should have been Trade and Industry Secretary.
David.
Sounds rather fun. I wish I'd seen it.
Not really your kind of thing, Marty.
I'm fascinated by history.
But not politics.
I'm quite interested in politics. I went to see Robin's debut.
Oh, not that.
We missed Robin's maiden speech.
And so did we nearly. Marty and I went along.
This was just before I went into rehearsal for, you know...
Marty came along to give me moral support.
Give you moral support?
But I was very nervous for you. Anyway, Marty came along to give me moral support.
I wanted to see it for myself. I'd never been in the Commons.
Well, it's astounding how few people take the opportunity to go.
Don't you love the, oh, what is it?
The Central Lobby.
Ah, just adore it. Oz the Magnificent goes to Gormenghast.
Oh.
That voice booming out of the PA system with people's names.
Anyway, I got so nervous.
How do you think I was feeling?
I got so nervous. I had to go out to the loo. And then I thought I'd just take a walk along the river because I knew Rob wasn't going to be speaking for another 3/4 of an hour.
So he just leaves me sitting there like a lemon.
Well, you said you were interested.
Oh, I was. Quite.
Anyway, to cut a long story short, when I come back, someone is starring in an incident in the public gallery.
It was hardly an incident.
I'm glad I didn't know about this at the time.
What on earth had happened?
The gallery attendant is over trying to get his attention.
I was only writing a letter.
You're not supposed to write anything in the public gallery.
I was just a bit bored sitting listening to some Mary drone on about whatever it was.
Unitary taxation.
So I thought I'd drop a line to my friend Felix in New York whilst we were waiting for Madame to make his entrance. So I got on my pad and I just written, you never guess where I'm writing this, when I feel this tap on my shoulder and there's this PC plod doing an angry Marcel Marceau at me. You would have thought I'd farted in front of the Queen Mother.
It's because of Hansard, isn't it?
Yes, they have the monopoly of what gets written inside the chamber.
Well, how do you think they'd have wanted to write to my friend Felix in New York?
Well, I'm sorry my colleagues and I failed to keep you entertained.
We read your maiden speech, of course, didn't we, Reg?
Oh, yes. Jolly good. Jolly good. No, actually, no, I wanted to ask you. We had a thing come up at the office the other day. I thought you'd probably be the person to ask, Robin, because of the unitary taxation business, especially with your background, your dad's firm and all that.
Oh, not now, Reg.
Well, I only wanted to ask.
Give me a ring at the office. No, give me a ring at Mars. I'll be there during the week.
Or champagne.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course. Beatrice.
Well, just a smidgen.
My mother likes to drink everything by smidgen.
Are you sure she isn't your sister?
Oh, flattery will get you nowhere, you naughty man.
It didn't get me far.
I don't know why you say that.
Reg?
No, he's driving.
We should be thinking of moving soon.
David? Oh, no.
I won't mind a bit.
Not on top of the vodka.
You have some vodka.
Have some more champagne.
That's fine, thanks.
Rob? Well, that's a lot.
Oh, you haven't left any for yourself.
No, I've got a drop.
Have some of mine.
No, I'm fine.
I've got a bottle through in the fridge. I'll go and get it.
Oh, don't bother, especially for Tim.
Oh.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, sorry. Do you want some more?
No.
Robin says you can see St. Paul's from your flat.
Just about, if you hang out over the balcony.
Oh, that sounds a bit precarious.
Does that mean you can't see that thing?
What?
The NatWest Tower.
Oh, is that what it is? I've always wondered.
Well, it's only been there for the last...
I don't really notice ugly things.
That must come in useful.
Would you like to come through and see St. Paul's?
Well, not just now. I'd love to another time.
No, I'm fine where I am now.
Don't get too comfortable. He'll be asleep within 10 minutes.
Shall I make some coffee?
Davy?
Yeah, okay.
Don't make a nuisance of yourself, David.
It's no trouble.
Marty just wants to go and have his cigarette.
These creeps won't let me smoke in here.
Hear, hear. I thoroughly approve.
There has been no smoking in the house since 1696, and no smoking in this house since 1977.
Don't start comparing this place to the House of Commons, please. At least this place is the right size for all the people who live here. Both of us.
How do you mean, Tim?
Oh, he's got this thing about the chamber not being big enough to take all the members.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you surely wouldn't suggest leaving the Palace of Westminster, would you?
All this talk is making me desperate for a cigarette.
Me too.
Oh, David, if you can go without one this long...
Don't go falling off any balconies.
I'll hang on to him.
I think perhaps I'll pop through as well. Check the old cathedral still there. It's quite a spectacular view. You make the coffee.
Fine. Coffee for everybody. I'll just do the coffee.
I was just going to say, he seems quite a nice chap. Well, for an actor.
He's a bit obvious. I don't go for that. He called Robin Madame. That's the nice thing about the boys. They're not all over one another all the time.
How long is it that, they've been together?
Robin and... it must be coming up for 5 years. You know Celia hoped it wouldn't last, but as I said to her, you can give them life, but you can't live it for them.
Well, Tim seems a nice enough chap.
Oh, he's quite sweet. Though I think it would be better for Robbie if he had someone more on his intellectual level. He was at Brasenose after all.
Well, it's not everything. Well, especially for their sort. At least Tim's not a lorry driver.
What on earth do you mean?
Oh, some of them do.
Yes, I suppose Celia should be grateful for that. Not that anyone would ever be good enough for her, Robbie, even if he was normal.
Yes, well, I don't suppose she's really alone in thinking that.
What do you mean?
Ah, I think you're a bit sweet on him yourself, if the truth were known.
Oh, good God, Reg, I'm old enough to be his mother.
Well, you would have had to have had him at 14.
That's...
Well, what's the difference? What difference would that make in this day and age?
That's not funny, Reg.
A lady protests too much, I think.
You're being ridiculous. He happens to be the son of one of my best friends.
You see far more of him than you do of her.
Oh, this is stupid.
Subjects dropped.
I mean, it's just that he's... Well, the party. I mean, Celia doesn't have anything to do with...
Who got him accepted as a candidate?
He's the perfect choice.
You were the one who persuaded Treddington to retire. I was surprised you didn't put yourself forward to be the agent.
I could have killed David for saying that.
What?
About me wanting to be chairman.
So it's not true?
I didn't want Robbie to know. Well, not till... I was going to tell him, but certainly not tonight. Oh, this is stupid. This is supposed to be an outing for us to get closer to David, and he goes and says a thing like that.
Beattie, leave the boy alone, and he'll come home wagging his tail behind him. I'm sure I was just the same at his age.
My godfather. As if I'd spoken to my parents like that.
They would have hidden behind the furniture. Again, no, that's what they usually did.
You're being impossible.
My dear, after 25 years, I think I know you as well as I do.
You don't know me at all. That's your trouble.
Well, this isn't the time or place.
Well, what is? By the time you get home in the evening, all you do is fall asleep.
And you're not there anyway. And now you're looking to be party chairman, as if you don't spend enough time with it.
I don't see why I shouldn't. There are so many of those younger women who seem to think they can do it. I don't see why I shouldn't have my chance.
Oh, I think there's rather more to it than...
I've got to have something to fill my time.
Well, that's fine. Let's just leave it at that, shall we?
Oh, forget it.
Oh, sorry, I have to go alone. Coffee shouldn't be long.
I don't know how you can live with that building staring at you.
Yeah, you get used to it.
London's not what it was when we lived up here. All this mugging. Do you feel safe walking the streets?
I try not to think about it.
When we first moved to the village, there was only Tibbins. The most serious crime he dealt with was finding someone cycling at night without lights, and then he'd as soon loan you his.
Do you ever come down to the village?
No, not really. We've driven through a couple of times on the way to other places, but, well, you know Robin thinks it's best.
How long have you two been together?
I told you, it's 5 years.
7, actually. Well, we've only been in the flat 6 years. We didn't, live together straight away.
Is it as long as that? Good heavens. I remember when I first met you.
Tea at Claridge's.
Robin had sworn me to secrecy. Oh, I think Celia's ridiculous. It's so old-fashioned. But then that's her.
I thought she was supposed to be one of your best friends.
Well, she is. I mean, that's how I came to know Robin. And Tim.
How did you come to get together?
Do you mean, how did we meet?
Yes.
It was a rather ghastly disco at the University Gay Sock.
Gay Sock?
Gay Society.
Ah. Well.
No, it was really awful. The basement of this awful pub. I'd gone along with this bloke who I was sort of seeing at the time, and Rob was there with someone who dragged him along. We fled together. That was the start of it, really.
How did your parents feel?
Here's a bottle of reinforcements if anyone really wants it.
Where's David?
He's... Oh, I thought they were right behind me. I'll leave the door. Open that, will you?
Oh, don't open it for us. I'd as soon have some coffee now.
How was St. Paul's?
Well, you don't get me letting Marty hang me over the balcony.
David is safe, I hope.
He's only joking.
We were just hearing the saga of how you two got together.
How do you mean?
I was telling Beatrice and Reg about that awful disco.
I'd heard it all before, of course.
I can't think why you want to tell them about that.
Well...
Anyway, you can get the bubbly open now. Is the coffee on?
I didn't realise you were a disco goer, Robin.
I didn't realise that was all it was going to be. Someone persuaded me to go along despite my better judgment.
You were quite glad you went, though, weren't you?
Robin's a good dancer, Reg. Quite a few people were quite taken by him with Adele Patterson at that ball last summer. You made a very handsome couple.
Well, that was the intention, wasn't it?
Don't worry, chump. Your secret's safe with us.
Champagne, champagne, my kingdom for champagne. Come on, slow coach, get the cork out. Let the party commence.
I'm not terribly sure about party. We're going to have to be going soon.
Oh, come on, have another glass of champagne. You're only young once. Let your hair down, Beatrice.
David, what is that you're drinking?
Vodka.
What? The whole thing? Where did you get it?
Marty.
Well, I really think that's more than enough. You'll be sick. I hope you are.
More champagne, Beatrice?
No, I won't have any more.
Oh, come on, just a little bit. I bought it specially.
Well, just a smidgen. Half a glass. Just to drink your health. I'd really like some coffee.
Fill her up, please.
I'll go and get the coffee.
You're not going to become a lush, are you? It was bad enough with Tony Treddington.
Certainly not. This will be my last glass. I don't drink that much, B.
I'm glad to hear that.
Who's Treddington?
My predecessor, the previous honourable member for Fair Hazel East.
Honourable. Last time he was sober was the '64 general election. And that was only because he was in such a state of shock because Labour got in.
Is that why he started drinking?
Absurd little man. I had a drink with him on the terrace.
Oh, isn't that fun?
On the terrace at the house.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh, Robbie has taken you for a drink.
Several times.
I'm still waiting for an invitation.
Oh, B, that's hardly fair. You have a standing invitation, and I have apologised for the times I had to cancel.
3 times.
What do you want me to do? Grovel at your feet. Please forgive me, Beatrice. I'm sorry that constituency business got in the way of our torrid liaison.
Oh, Robbie, do get up. What on earth will people think?
That's where you like to keep everyone.
What was that, young man?
Nothing.
Reg. My family. Reg.
Oh, leave him be. He's obviously tired.
When is he not?
He was saying about having a drink with the, what's his name?
Yes, he introduced me to this other man. I forget his name now. And the two of them are throwing back whiskies as if they have shares in the company. Well, then the division bell goes.
Oh, that awful cowbell thing, isn't that a most frightful noise?
Coffee's here.
And so I said to him, shouldn't you be voting? And he said, I just couldn't believe it. No, this, indicating the other man, is my pair. He's actually sitting drinking with his exact opposite number. The bloody man was Labour.
It's the oldest men's club in London, B. White.
Please, I just couldn't believe it. Fraternising with the enemy. It's just unbelievable. Oh, thanks.
I think we should...
No, should we wake Reg up for some coffee?
No,
Yes, we really ought to be going, and he's got a long drive in front of him. Reg! David, are you intending to drink all of that? Reg, it's time to go.
What? Oh, sorry.
Coffee?
Yes, white.
Black. David, if you drink all of that in a hurry, you're going to be sick. You'll have to leave it if you want us to give you a lift.
Where do you have to go?
Camden
Belsize
Town.
Park.
I thought you lived down in Surrey.
We've got to go down after we've dropped him at his digs.
Why don't you get a cab, David?
No, it's just as easy for us to drop him.
No, but it'll take you miles out of your way, especially as Reg here is so tired. Look, I've got a cab coming myself at 12:30. I can give David a lift round to...
Camden Town.
Yes, on my way.
Going clubbing?
David and I are going to the subway.
What's that?
Oh, no, sorry, not this David. David Trevelyan. He came to see the show.
Oh, yes, your actor friend.
Subway. Is that a new club?
Quite.
Oh, they've all changed since my day, of course.
I don't suppose you went to that sort of club, Reg?
I don't know what you're laughing about, young man. You may not wish to believe it, but I did used to go out to nightclubs, you know, before I met your mother.
And after.
Oh, yes, and after. Well, though not as much.
Anyway, I insist on giving your son a lift to his home.
Well,
that's very decent of you, Mr.
Marty.
Marty.
Are you sure it's
No trouble at all. My pleasure.
Don't be any trouble, then.
Oh, Mummy! Mum.
I suppose you'll be hung over again tomorrow. I don't know when you ever do your studies. I wish I'd had your opportunities. By the time I was your age...
You were nearly married. Yes, I know.
I think we'd better be on our way, E.T. We've got a long drive, and well, these gentlemen...
Are you sure you won't have any more coffee?
Oh, no. Thank you, Timothy.
Where did you put the coats, Tim?
They're in the bedroom.
Are you coming up to town this week, Bea?
I've got a ticket for the dress rehearsal at Covent Garden on Thursday morning.
Are you a friend?
Oh, she's a friend of every damn charity that'll take my money.
I'll give you a ring. Maybe we could have that drink.
Are you not coming down to the village?
Oh, yes, of course. I'd completely forgotten. I'm going down to see Ma on Monday. I probably won't come back up here till at least Wednesday.
Oh, do you not go into the firm much these days, then?
Oh, you know the way it is.
Well, wish I did. It's all right for the likes of them, eh, Tim? Yeah, whilst the rest of us are slaving away in our offices.
Oh, well.
I haven't asked you how the new job's going.
Actually, Bea, why don't I give you a lift up on Wednesday morning?
And Reg can give me a lift back in the evening.
I'll see you later in the week then.
David, we're going. Mind you don't stay too long. Robin, don't give him any more to drink. Goodbye, Marty. It was nice to meet you after all this time.
Really enjoyed the show. And give my regards to Lindy McRae next time you see her.
Tomorrow night.
It did remind me. Now, what do you mean tomorrow afternoon? It's matinee day.
You ought to go straight to bed, young man.
I wish I could.
How many performances do you do a week, then?
Reg, we're leaving.
What's this? A funny hat?
Oh, do take it off, Reg.
Oh, I don't want to wear it.
Oh, Tim brought this top hat. If you want to ask a question in the house as a division starts, you have to put a top hat on. Tim thinks this is very weird.
No, I don't think it's very weird at all. I think it makes perfect sense for MPs to start dressing up with.
Anyway, he brought this second-hand top hat for my last birthday and delights in bringing it out to embarrass me if people start talking just as they're leaving.
I'm sure there's a very good historical reason for it, Tim.
Stupid traditions.
But we won't go into it now.
Thank you, Bea. Here, I'll relieve you of that, Reg.
Aren't you going to say good night to your father, David?
Good night, Dad. Thank you for the evening out.
Good night, my baby. Don't have any more after that.
I won't.
Good night again, Marty.
Well, here we are again. Your father seems very nice. And your mother is a monster.
She's all right. They're gone.
Yes.
Any more of that champagne?
Help yourself.
Oh, Timothy.
No, I've been doing everything all bloody evening. Why don't you do something to help for a change?
Well, I like that. After a full day working in the Commons, I speed down to my constituency, a mere 43 miles or so away, race through my surgery like someone on drugs, including cutting short some poor old dear who's worried about someone opening a mink farm at the bottom of a garden, and race back another 43 miles up here, well over the speed limit, so I can spend the evening with you, and you can't even pour me a glass of champagne.
I did a full day's work too, you know.
Oh, Tim.
Tim, please. Have you met the Honourable Member for Fair Hazel East?
Honourable? Looks like a puff to me. Is there any of that left?
Do you want any more, Dick? No, I think you've had enough.
You're in disgrace, young man.
I'm all right.
You're paralytic.
Oh, God, Tim, I think you ought to get him to the bathroom.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Did you have anything to drink before you came over here?
A couple of beers at the theatre.
And all that vodka on top of it?
Oh, you're only young ones.
It would not by the look of you.
I had to have something to get through that awful show.
Thanks a bunch.
Bloody rude.
It's all right. We've already discussed it next door.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
Well, nobody could have a lower view of the show than I do.
I always get a terrible hangover if I mix.
I get it from the old man. He was knocking back the scotch earlier.
What? And then had all that champagne. God, I hope they're all right getting home.
No wonder he went to sleep.
He does it all the time.
It's not that I'm worried about. If they have an accident and it comes out they were drinking here.
Gay MP champagne orgy ends in motorway tragedy. Sounds like the kind of thing that Uncle Clifford would make up.
I don't find that kind of thing very funny. Why don't you have some coffee?
No, it would make me sick.
So, you're going on to the subway?
I haven't had an orgasm for hours.
God, you're incorrigible. Rob was worried that you'd pick someone up on the way over here.
You ought to be more careful, you know. I was talking the other day to someone and he was
You're
saying...
wasting your breath. You ought to know by now that this one spends every waking hour.
That's most unfair. Whatever will David think? Anyway, I thought I might go and see Zelig tomorrow night, at the late night after the show. Do you want to come?
What is it?
It's a new Woody Allen film.
Oh, yeah.
Woody Allen is a genius.
It's about
a genius. He's really brilliant. Did you see Stardust
Memories?
Memories. That film was so brilliant. That's why the critics didn't like it.
I thought it was a bit too much of a rip-off Fellini, actually.
Brilliant. And black and white.
I don't think I want a late night tomorrow.
Well, I'd quite like to see it. I read a review and
You go with Marty if you want.
Are we keeping you up, Robbo?
He's a genius. He's really brilliant. That Stardust Melodies is brilliant.
I think I'd better get this one home.
I don't want to go home yet.
Did you ever hear the expression overstaying your welcome?
You're taking me home then?
I've got a cab coming in about 5 minutes. Have you got a coat?
I'll get it.
It's a jacket.
I've got it. Here you are.
Come on, big boy.
When is your 21st birthday, David?
What?
I'm only seeing him home out of the goodness of my heart.
We are responsible, Marty.
So am I. Ready, trouble?
I feel.
Are you going to be sick?
Oh, looks as if we're gone. I'll see you tomorrow about the movie.
Okay, take care. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Oh, please, allow me a little leeway. I'll see you tomorrow night. Night, Robbo.
Night, Marty.
Night.
We are alone.
I can't face clearing up now.
I'll do it tomorrow. Come and sit down. Oh, I'm exhausted.
So let's go to bed.
I'm exhausted. I love you.
I'm beginning to suspect that the words "I'm exhausted" and "I love you" are becoming synonymous with you.
What?
Nothing.
I said I love you, you silly boy.
Yes, wrong.
I don't suppose there's ever been anyone as happy together as we are in the history of the world.
I'll take the coffee cups out.
Tim gathers up glasses and cups and puts them on a tray. As he goes into the kitchen, the lights fade for a moment or so and then come up brighter. It is a Saturday afternoon, a couple of months later. There is a ring at the front door.
Will you get that?
The bell rings again. Tim comes in, wiping his hands on a cheesecloth.
Rob, it's Beatrice, I think.
What?
Oh, hello, Beatrice. Come in. Rob's just been having a nap.
Oh, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, I was... Oh.
I could come back.
No, I'm fine. I was down at the surgery till late last night. I was just taking 40 winks. I'm fine now.
Shall I make some tea?
Do you mind, darling?
No problem. Throw your coat in the bedroom, B.
Come and join me on the sofa. Oh. Was there anything in particular?
No, I just came to see my favourite MP.
How was David?
He's an idiot, that child. Terrible cold. He seems to perpetually have little things wrong with him since he's come up to London. He just doesn't take care of himself. He was still in bed when I got there at 12:15. I was going to take him out to lunch with Clifford.
Oh, your Fleet Street cousin.
And the theatre if he wanted to come, though I don't know why I bother.
Oh, how was it, by the way?
Not as good as they all made it out to be. He was very good, but I've never been very keen on her anyway.
So David didn't miss too much.
Do you remember when I took you to the theatre when you were little?
Ah, the pantomime, yes.
And a show as well, Oliver.
Oh, what was that with you?
Thank God that Stuart who shares the flat seems to have a bit more sense, even if he is a raving communist. I made him send for the doctor. You can't be too careful with cold in this weather.
Quite. How's Reg?
Oh, same as ever. Do you know, there are times when I wonder what on earth I ever saw in him. It was my mother who forced it, really. I could have gone to university, you know.
Yeah, you've told me before.
I was offered the place.
At St. Hilda's.
My mother said I'd never get a better offer than Reg. You don't realise so much when you're young. I've always regretted it.
Tea up. Oh, don't let me interrupt.
B was just saying how much she regrets not going to university.
Well, not regret per se, but I was very young when I married.
Reg must be quite a bit older than you.
More than 10 years. He was terribly successful when he was young. I don't know what happened.
Beatrice.
I suppose his get up and go got up and went.
You could have done a lot worse.
I got the impression that he really cares for you a great deal.
Yes, but who wants to be looked after by an ageing cocker spaniel?
I wouldn't mind.
Ah, that's because you have no ambition, Tim.
Who says?
You could have been Robin's researcher.
Oh, I'm not interested in politics.
And just as well as he says he's sort of Labour.
Yeah, I think there would probably have been some kind of homicide.
You see, I think I'd like
Yeah?
Well, when I look at all these women in politics now, I mean, from the Prime Minister on down.
I hope you're not counting me in on that.
You?
I suspect Marty would refer to me as...
Oh, I don't like him. I'm sorry, but he just... I know he's one of your friends, Tim, but...
Both of us. He's both of our friends, a friend of both of us.
Go on with what you were saying.
Oh, it doesn't really matter.
No, go on, B.
Well, I've been thinking, when old Lambton retires as party chairman...
Lambton? I thought it was Whitelaw.
So you do take some tiny interest in our...
I'm talking about the local party.
Oh.
Ah.
I didn't mean to come out with it like this.
You fancy the chair? We've never had a woman in the chair before.
Well, perhaps it's time we did. Perhaps it's time we women had a share of the power.
I'm all for sharing power.
I don't think that's quite what Beatrice had in mind.
I want a share.
In power?
In the way the country is governed. Run.
That's what I was saying to you the other day, Rob, about the power being shared between everyone. Not just.
Like a lot of socialist thinking. That's a very nice idea, whereas in practice...
I'm not a socialist.
No, of course not, B.
You're laughing at me.
No, I'm sorry. It's just Tim gets these crazy half-baked ideas from Donald.
Donald?
An actor friend of Marty's, full of all sorts of loony lefty ideas, spends more time trying to sell newspapers outside tube stations than he ever does on stage.
And living on social security, I suppose.
Exactly.
I think you're horrible to poor Donald. And it wasn't his idea anyway.
Oh, what wasn't his idea?
The idea that we should all take a share in power.
Everyone gets a vote.
No, I meant more than that.
Well, I'd like my share. How about it, young man?
I'll have to think about it, B. How does Reg feel?
Oh, Reg has stood in my way for 30 years. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to come out as it did. He's asleep before he's got his slippers on after dinner anyway. That time we went to see your friend Marty's show was the last time we went out together, apart from party functions.
Have you spoken to anyone else about it?
I thought I'd tell you first. Sound you out, I mean.
How do you think the other women...
Well, that's partly it. I see all these younger women coming up and it's much easier for them. Attitudes are changing, even in Fair Hazel East. If I don't take my chance now...
I think everyone was really thinking of old Densby for when Charlie Lampton retired.
Graham Densby is 9 years older than me. He's only 6 years younger than Charles Lampton.
Really? I'll have to give it some thought, Beatrice. I mean, you bowled me a bit of a googly here.
I think Beatrice would probably be very good as chairwoman.
Chairman. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Oh, damn, the phone's ringing in the bedroom.
I'll get it.
If it's Kellaway, I'm out till late tonight.
Why don't you tell him he's down at his mother's for the weekend?
No, don't do that. He's got the number.
Maybe you could do with another agent.
Oh, no, it's just that I told him I wasn't going to be around during the day today.
You work so hard.
Beatrice, it's Reg. For you.
Oh. How did you know I was here? Hello, Reg? I was just... Oh. Have you got a piece of paper? Yes. Yes, right. Yes, I've got that. I'll go straight there. No, don't bother. I'm perfectly capable on my own, and Robin's here anyway. Why don't you wait till I ring you? Well, I'll see you there later then. David's been taken to hospital.
Is it?
Suspected pneumonia. Oh, the stupid child. The doctor took him straight in. Stuart rang the house. He'd obviously forgotten I said I was coming round to see you.
Where is he?
UCH, University College Hospital.
I'll drive you over.
Would you? Oh.
Do you want me to come?
No, there's no need for both of us.
Thank you anyway.
I'll get your coat.
Could you get mine too while you're in there?
Pneumonia's all right, isn't it? I mean, it's not dangerous anymore. It's not.
I'm sure he'll be fine. It's just a precautionary measure. I'm sure UCH is a marvellous hospital. I'm sure he's in the best possible hands.
We'll get him a private room. Oh, you will think about what I've been saying, won't you?
Of course.
I hope he's all right, B.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yes. Okay, let's go. I'll give you a ring from the hospital to let you know what's going on.
Right.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, B. Oh, don't worry.
I'm taking my briefcase just in case there are any long waits. Right. I'll give you a ring from the hospital.
Right. Hey. Point of order. I love you.
Silly boy.
Robin goes out. Tim takes off the top hat and stands for a moment looking at it. He turns to put it back in the cabinet. As he does so, David, dressed only in a white dressing gown or robe and barefooted, comes in through the front door and sits down in the chair he occupied earlier. Tim closes the front door and turns, staring at the chair, but not at David sitting in it.
Oh, David.
Tim goes back into the kitchen to start the washing up, and the lights fade. Robin is asleep on the sofa. David, dressed exactly as we last saw him, but now rather paler, is sitting in his chair down right, looking a little bored. After a beat.
Gay MP's Barbican love nest.
Mm.
The front door opens as if on its own. Marty, dressed like David but not looking so pale, wanders in. The door closes as if of its own accord behind him. Marty comes over behind the sofa and looks down on Robin, then looks around the room. He coughs to attract David's attention.
Well, look what the cat brought in.
Thanks a bunch.
Got bored with your flat?
The new people are decorating it in execrable taste. I wanted to grab that woman's rag roller and wring it out over her head. I think it's totally unfair. We can't touch things and shake them about.
Memories can only hurt the mind.
I think that's totally unfair.
I don't see how you could have seen her anyway. She didn't know you. How could she remember you?
She saw me in that show that you loved so much. It's awful being remembered by her. She gets me totally wrong. For a start, she thinks I'm much taller than I am, which makes me feel really uncomfortable.
The price of fame.
Oh, fart. Anyway, then she started imagining me having sex all over the place. God, die of a sexually transmitted disease, and that's all people think about you. And then it's some people's idea about what gay men do is very odd. I wish I could tell her husband a thing or two. She was getting quite carried away. It's annoying we don't get to feel whatever they're feeling.
We could hardly feel anything physical.
Strange, isn't it? I keep thinking I should miss sex, but I can't remember what it was like. And sometimes I get called someone I can hardly remember, and they're remembering having sex with me, but with such fear. It's really boring sitting here with him asleep.
That's the only time we can contact them.
How do you mean?
Didn't you know? You can make them really uncomfortable when they're asleep. Shake their subconsciousnesses around with reflexes without the reflexes cutting the thought out. Watch this. Gay MP in Barbican love nest.
Oh, that's horrible. Poor Rob. He was really upset when all that happened.
Was it before you?
Yeah. Do it again.
You try.
No, I couldn't.
Go on. Keep him on his toes.
Well, just this once. Oh, shit, I've forgotten what the headline was.
If you concentrate, you can pick it out of his memory.
Oh, that's far too technical for me. Oh, I know. Gay MP's double life.
Barbican's Jekyll and Hyde. Your turn. Something different.
Screaming Queen in Barbican Flat. No reaction.
Oh, it's not a real headline, nor exactly surprising either. You have to use real headlines from when it happened.
I didn't read that many.
Liar. I watched you. You bought all the papers.
I don't like this business. Why do you hang around here so much?
I think it's Tim. He seems to think about me an awful lot recently.
Do you think he fancied you?
No. It's only since you became ill. He was talking about me to someone this morning, but whoever it was, I could only get half of it. It wasn't someone who'd known me. Robert was thinking about me just before he fell asleep, so I stayed. I like making him feel uncomfortable. He's such a hypocrite.
Oh, he's all right. Is it because he was asleep that I could just wander in here, even though he wasn't remembering me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I should never get the hang of this. Why was he thinking about you? You've been dead for over 6 years. I only died 3 months ago. Why wasn't he thinking of me?
Luck of the draw.
I think that's most unfair. Oh, someone's calling me in the hall.
Hello?
Ah.
What's the time? I was asleep.
It's 4:30.
I was having the strangest dream about David Pembridge, of all people. And Marty. I think they were both... Maybe they were working on a newspaper. There was something of a rabbit, I think.
A rabbit?
Oh, I can't remember it clearly.
I nearly knocked on Marty's door. Force of habit.
Wasn't expecting you till later.
I got an earlier train. Well, it was in fact an even earlier train, but it was so late that it came sooner than the one I had been going to. Did you get something for supper?
Thought we'd go out.
Which means no.
Take your coat off if you're stopping. Oh, missed you.
Yes.
How was it? How was Donald in the play?
Oh, well, it was all right. Donald was actually quite good. Better than Marty made out, anyway.
Donald, the time Donald played Macduff was the only time I ever wanted Macbeth to win.
Did the new people move into next door?
Yeah. I met her waiting for the lift yesterday. Seems pleasant enough. He's with Henderson, Hill and Morley.
Did you tell her what you do for a living?
It didn't come up.
Well, let's hope they don't read that sort of Sunday newspaper.
MP's gay love nest.
Love nest in Barbican Penthouse.
Penthouse.
Don't have to worry about it any longer, sweetheart. I'm sure they've dropped it. Our sex life really isn't very interesting.
You said it.
Take your coat off. How about going into the bedroom for...
Oh, God, I hope they're not going to go through all that again. Robert was right about their sex life not being very interesting.
It seems to keep them amused.
Oh, hell, what's the time?
5:20.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was forgetting Bee's coming by.
Oh, God. I just got home. And I promised to take Donald's keys over to somebody.
Please don't start nagging, Tim. Bee's come up for a matinee. I told her to drop by and have some tea.
So that's why Robbo was thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Have we got any tea?
Oh, I suppose so.
Tea doesn't buy itself.
Well, she can have a Christmas drink then.
Oh, great. Another evening with Bee up to her arse in gin, if there's any of that left.
Oh, you vulgar boy. I've had a very busy week.
How long is Bee likely to stay?
We should try and be a bit nicer about it. Poor woman has just lost her husband.
I wonder what she wants.
You mean metaphysically?
This afternoon.
She's just dropping by.
She's after the chairmanship again.
Oh, don't be.
You watch. It'll be all like that stuff after David died.
You're so suspicious.
Graham Densby's going to be retiring soon. It'll be just like before when old, what's his name?
Lambton?
Retired. Bees mourning.
Oh, I don't think so.
She did it when David died. Now she's doing it when Reg dies. Every time Bee loses a member of her family, she makes a bid for local party chairman. Perhaps it's Freudian.
You get so cynical when you've been with Donald. Mars invited you down.
What?
Ma wants you to come down and meet her. I told her...
Oh, so she finally found she could believe about me when she read it in a Sunday newspaper.
Ma doesn't read the papers.
Oh, I'm surprised she hasn't sent, who is it? Adele Patterson up here, just in case they start snooping around again.
There's no question.
And will we share a bedroom?
Of course.
But will I replace Adele Patterson on your arm at the hunt ball?
They don't have hunt balls anymore.
Forget it.
I don't know why you're reacting like this. Ma's trying.
I feel like a lapdog who's being tolerated. Yap, yap, yap. Give me the scraps from the table.
Oh, I can see you've had a week with Donald. Starting to get warm?
Hardly unexpected in May.
I wonder if we'll have a good summer.
Who knows?
Isn't this fascinating? You sure we're the dead ones?
I'll see if there's any tea.
It's all right.
Oh, I've got it. Oh, there's 4 tea bags. Oh, should be enough.
I brought some milk.
Oh, well, goody two-shoes for you.
Do you fancy going to the theatre downstairs?
What's on?
The Plantagenets, Henry VI, etc.
Sounds enthralling. Are there any tickets left?
I don't know.
Oh, you get the tickets. I'll go and see it.
Oh, what on earth has got into you?
Nothing yet.
Wait till B's gone. So, will you come?
Come.
To Mars? Oh, you will come, won't you?
Why has she suddenly asked me now? After the business in the Sunday papers?
I asked her.
What time is B getting here?
Say you'll come.
Oh, any minute now they'll do the nibble the neck again. If they start to do it here and your mother arrives, I shall get so frustrated at not being able to open the door.
This is so cozy.
Yes.
Do we have any tonic?
I think so.
I'll go and check. Oh, there's half a bottle. Looks a bit flat.
The tonic is flagging, his spirits are flagging, and this spirit is flagging.
Oh, please.
Donald's working on some anti-clause 28 benefit.
Please let's start on that again.
Ooh, a row.
I've heard it before.
So have I. Well, only when I was alive. I've never heard the no-holds-barred version.
He was interviewed in the local paper about it.
I wish you'd pay less attention to Donald. He's only a bloody actor when all's said and done.
I question that.
Well, you're quite an actor yourself when you think about it. Standing up in the House of Commons and voting for something which denies the acceptability of homosexuality as a pretended family relationship.
I didn't stand up. I was paired.
But you voted for it. You voted for something that said that our relationship isn't.
You shouldn't take these things personally.
How should I take it? The man I've lived with just stood up and said that our 10 years together are meaningless.
I didn't say anything of the sort. We've had all this out 1,000 times.
But you could have spoken out against it.
Oh, yes. And what the hell do you think the press would have made of that?
Look at what they did make of it. The fact that, what was it you said? Our sex life isn't very interesting.
But you are living a lie.
He should resign.
You could have voted against.
It was a 3-line whip. Look, it's well over 2 years ago. I really don't want to discuss it anymore.
But couldn't you have spoken?
Tim, can't you get it through your thick skull that it would have been worth more than... Can you imagine how Ma would have reacted? Or B, my majority would have been shattered if I'd even been reselected.
Perhaps they would have respected you for your honesty.
Yeah, perhaps pigs will fly.
Donald says they despise you.
Well, I despise Donald, so that makes us equal.
He says that you'll never get any kind of preferment. The Prime Minister despises you for being homosexual and despises you for being a coward.
There is talk that I might become...
Don't tell me there's talk of... There's talk of you being made Chancellor of the Exchequer. There's talk of you being made Foreign Secretary. There's talk of you being made Assistant Parliamentary Undersecretary in charge of the dinner money. You've told me there's talk ever since you've been there. And what has it led to?
Thank you for your support.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to let all that out. I just don't.
You've had too much Donald.
Yes.
Poor Robbo. Do you think he will ever get on? I wish we could see into the future.
Don't you think having to live in the past is hell enough?
You're a cheery soul, aren't you?
Interesting concept.
I've never thought about it before. It must be awful living with somebody who's in politics. They want to talk about it all the time.
But could you imagine what it would be like living with someone who worked in the theatre? Robin doesn't want to talk about this.
I suppose anybody who lives with a politician is going to argue with them sooner or later.
Yes, well, this isn't exactly some minor quibble, is it? I mean, he did vote for something that's ultimately...
Oh, don't you start. They've already been through all of that.
I don't know why Tim doesn't leave him.
Don't say that.
Mother!
Your mother!
It doesn't really affect us, you know.
That'll be B.
Tim, don't mention it whilst...
Oh.
Tim goes to the door. Beatrice is standing carrying some shopping, looking much older than she did in Act 1.
Hello, Beatrice.
Hello, Tim. I wasn't sure if you'd be here.
Sorry to disappoint you.
What?
Hello, B.
How's my favourite MP?
How was the show?
I thought he was even better than everyone said. And of course, it's a marvellous play.
What have you seen?
Shadowlands.
Come and have some tea.
What if you would have got here?
If you're making some.
Unless you'd rather have something stronger, B. I'd rather feel like a drink.
Well, I wouldn't mind a small G&T. Just a small one. The last time I came round here, I only just found my way to Victoria. You boys, you're terrible.
God, I need the effects of a stiff vodka.
I'll make the drinks. Tim's only just got in.
Been doing the shopping?
I've been away for a few days.
Did you ever meet Donald, Marty's friend?
No, I didn't realise Marty had a friend.
Marty had lots.
No, I mean...
Lover?
Yes.
He had lots of those as well.
Yes.
I'd like to do her some kind of long, lingering, permanent...
My dad?
Oh, sorry.
Ice and lemon, B?
Oh, yes, please.
Tim?
Are you getting it? Well, I'll have the usual, if you know what that is.
You don't know how lucky you are to have someone.
I've only just got in. I've been away for a week or so. Went up to Derby to see Donald in a show.
He's an actor.
Yes.
I didn't say a word.
How are you anyway, Tim? I don't seem to have seen so much of you recently.
Oh, you know, ticking along.
Is that the Lloyd's building all lit up like that? Isn't it hideous?
It's the one thing we can always agree on, B.
I don't know how on earth they get away with it.
It's won up-teen prizes.
I keep thinking of what Prince Charles says. They've done more to destroy the face of London than the SS.
The Luftwaffe.
Couldn't agree with him more.
Here we are, G's and T's all around. Are there any peanuts or anything?
Not unless you've brought some.
Have you been with Ma all this time?
Of course.
I don't know how you can stand it.
She loved me. She thinks of me all the time.
Like a sort of dull headache.
Must be rather nice.
Rather uncomfortable, I would think. Is it true what they say about women's lavatories?
I hadn't realised how much I failed to understand you whilst you were alive, David.
People remember me as slightly unpleasant and rather cynical. Therefore, I am.
I never thought about you like that.
Well, you can't remember me. You're a memory yourself.
What do they say about women's lavatories?
Yeah, a rather peculiar thing happened when B was at the theatre. Something one of the actors did obviously reminded her of me, and I suddenly found myself up on stage in front of all those people.
And what character was he playing?
Cheers.
Cheers.
I hadn't really realised how much your mother drinks.
Been keeping busy, Robbie.
Yes, I...
You weren't at the constituency meeting on Wednesday.
No, something came up. Didn't they get my apologies? I rang Sanford.
Yes, he said. Why didn't you ring me?
I did ring you. I didn't get any reply.
Oh, when was that?
Tuesday night.
That's funny. I was in all evening.
She never was when I was there.
I was watching television. I've just rather lost my taste for going out, just at the moment.
You see?
Perhaps there was something wrong with the line.
I can't see that there can be. I had a long chat with Clifford.
Yes, of course, that's right. I tried a couple of times and you were engaged. That's when I rang Sanford. I was trying to get an early night.
He's always terribly tired. He was asleep when I got in just now.
The glamorous life of an MP exhausting you?
Well, I wouldn't call it glamorous.
All those interesting people you meet.
Name two.
He can't find them that uninteresting, Tim, or he spent rather more time in his constituency.
Ma has invited us down for the weekend after next.
Surely she doesn't need to invite you. It's your constituency home. Oh, both of you. Well, you must be thrilled, Tim.
I haven't decided whether I'm going.
Yes, it probably isn't too wise after all that newspaper business.
He's playing hard to get.
No, surely not.
Oh, great. Let's play Embarrassed Silence.
Embarrassed silence?
It's his game.
It's a game. You play it whenever they can't think of anything to say, and we bet on who's going to talk first.
You're heartless, David.
So are you. You'll get used to it. My money's on Robin.
I'll take your mother.
I find it exhausting doing the shopping these days. There were so many people in Oxford Street, but a bit common. I remember one Christmas when David was little.
Oh, not this again.
David! She's remembering you. She's upset.
She's not remembering me. I should know. She's doing this to gain sympathy.
Ma used to take me to the grotto in Selfridges. She said Harrods, but...
I'm all right, Robbie, really. I was just remembering. David can only have been about 5. We came up to town in the morning and went to the shops, and then we met Reg for lunch. Father Christmas had just given David this little teddy bear. Not, oh, you know, just a little cheap thing. But for some reason, he really loved it. Anyway, at lunch, Reg was talking about this clerk in his office whose name was Crizzle. Peculiar name. Funny little man, actually. And David got it confused with Father Christmas. He used to say Father Crizzle for years afterwards, and we called the teddy bear Crizzle too. Father Crizzle.
I'd forgotten that.
Hang around here and you'll hear that story a lot.
I don't know what happened to that teddy.
Can't keep everything.
Tim's so unsentimental. Ma has kept all of my teddies. Dear old Mr. Rowley.
I hate throwing things away. When I went through Reg's clothes, do you know that sweet man had kept his D-mob suit? Can you imagine? Why on earth? I had no idea it was up there. He'd put it in a box in the attic with a couple of letters and the dance card from the evening we met.
How romantic.
Yeah, she told them that the last time she came round.
You told us that the last time you were here.
Oh, did I?
Yes, I still think it was very romantic.
Reg was a lovely man.
I had so many wonderful letters. You hardly knew him, Tim. I was saying to Tim while you were outside, Robbie, how lucky he is to have somebody. You are lucky to have one another.
Ma always speaks very highly of Reg. She was ever so grateful for his help when Dad died.
Why does nobody ever speak to me about me like this? Whenever they talk about me, there's always a kind of giggle in their voice.
You weren't old enough to be noble and dignified, or young enough to be tragic.
I could have done with someone.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get down more, B. It was the party conference. And
I didn't mean it like that, darling. I'm grateful for the bit of time you have managed to spare me. Oh, can I help myself to another smidgen?
Oh, yes, do, of course.
Does anyone else want to?
No, thanks.
Embarrassed silence.
My mother.
I wanted her.
I think she's probably a safe bet.
You two seem rather quiet. Did I interrupt a row or something? Oh, come now. What is it you're rowing about?
It was nothing.
Oh, come on now. Tell your Auntie Beatrice.
I think I can almost remember how to be sick.
It was nothing, really, B.
It wasn't nothing, actually, B. We were having yet another row about Clause 28.
Clause
Drop it,
28? No, tell me.
It's the thing in the local government bill.
I'm quite aware of what Clause 28 is, Robbie. Section 28, in fact. Do you object to it, Tim? You object to people trying to stop children being taught how...
You can't teach homosexuality, B.
Now, this is getting interesting.
Yes, well, you only see it from your side, you see, Tim. I mean, it's all very well and good, but it would hardly do if we were all like you, would it? I mean, you know me. I don't mind, but you can hardly expect ordinary people.
I'm an ordinary person.
Of course.
Yes, of course you are, in most ways. Anyway, Tim, look, I hardly think you can expect Robin to spend his parliamentary time fighting your battles for you. He's not your MP, is he? He has his constituents to think of.
Like David.
What? David?
Drop it, Tim.
David? David?
You know what I mean.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Tim, drop it now.
No. I want to know what he said.
B.
I want to know why he said that. You cruel, vicious...
B.
You hate me, don't you?
That's right, Mother. Forget about me quick.
You've always hated me.
Don't be stupid.
David, there was nothing wrong with...
No.
He got ill. It was...
That's right, B. For God's sakes, Tim.
It's the truth.
How do you know? You're not God.
No, what? There's nothing to know. You want everyone to be like you because you don't want to be the way you are. You want everyone to be like you. I know what you're trying to say, well, let me tell you, it was pneumonia that killed him.
Yes.
Pneumonia.
Yes, it was pneumonia, Tim. Tell B you didn't mean anything.
That's right.
It was pneumonia. It was tragic. He was only 22 years old. How could you be so vicious?
Viral pneumonia.
Enough, Tim.
You're stamping on his grave.
It was the same thing that killed Marty.
Enough, Tim.
If he did have, he got it from that man, that whore.
From you? Yeah, she thinks I got it from you.
Did you?
B. That whore was a very close friend of mine. Of ours, wasn't he, Rob?
Yes, of course.
He only died 2 months ago in great pain, with great courage and dignity.
It was nothing.
Dignity? Because some friend of yours has died. You think that gives you the right to speak to me like that about my son? My son! It was pneumonia. It was tragic. I'm not staying here to have my son's memory insulted. Give me my coat, Robbie. I shall tell your mother that if he ever comes down...
Don't worry, Beatrice, I won't be there.
Now look, you two.
I'm going out. I've got to take those keys over to Donald's flat in a minute.
I'm sorry, B. I don't know what's got into Tim. Stay a moment. Don't leave in anger.
I don't know how you can live with someone so evil.
Oh, he's not.
Compare David to that whore. He got what he deserved the way he behaved. David was so young. You don't believe what he said about David, do you?
No.
I should have told her. I wanted to protect her.
She doesn't know.
Of course she does. She thinks I got it from you. I got it from about 5 different people. I've been having sex since I was 15, like most other human beings.
I don't know how you can live with someone so evil.
Oh, Beto, he's not. He's...
Your mother was the only woman I ever made love to. I was 29 years old.
How could he be so vicious?
Have another drink.
Well, just a smidgen.
Right. I'm off to Donald's. I'll be back later.
What time?
I don't know. However long it takes me to get over there.
I love you.
If you could see how ridiculous you looked. Goodbye, Beatrice.
Do you think he'll come back?
He's too afraid not to. And he'd miss the glamour of being an MP's lover.
You're such a cynic.
He's terrified of having sex with anyone else after what happened to you.
I don't think it does you any credit to live with a man like Robbie. Like that, Robbie. I've known you since you were a boy. You can do better than that. I know you'll always be the way you are, but you can do better than that.
Let's not discuss it now, B. You're...
Well, remember, there's talk of reselection after that piece in the Sunday papers. I had to pull a lot of strings to make sure it wasn't followed up any further. It's not like the old days, Robin. Being discreet isn't the guarantee of being able to get away with a, what is it they call it? A lifestyle like yours anymore.
You stopped it.
I have my contacts. We old girls still have some say in the party, you know, despite what some of those younger women may make out.
She's bluffing, of course.
Don't speak like that of your mother.
It's true. She has no strings to pull. God, do you think she'd have taken a back seat in the constituency party if she was able to do this?
Thank you. I hadn't realised that you personally...
I wasn't going to tell you, of course. Still, it's best for you to know how precarious your position could be. It would be awful if you had to step down. It would break your mother's heart.
What's she after?
Oh, that sounded like a sort of threat. I didn't mean it to come out like that, dear. You mean such a lot to me, especially now that I'm so on my own. But you can do better with your life than this. You'll think about it, won't you? Let's face it, you're in a very responsible position. Member of Parliament, Cabinet perhaps, who knows, even Prime Minister one day. The party depends on you to set an example. If...
Yes?
I'd still be interested in the local party chairmanship, you know. With poor Graham Densby ill, it would make a lot of sense. I've got a lot of time on my hands now that since Reg died.
She's like, what is it? A black hole. She just sucks everything in with nothing back. I loved her so much, yet nothing I did could satisfy her.
Thwarted ambition, Dad. She wants a share of power.
No.
Why do you think she was so disappointed in me? Do you think she wanted me to study engineering? She wanted me to study English and history like her beloved Robbie. I could be a politician. She'd have her own politician, just like Robin's mother.
Why didn't she go into politics herself?
A woman's place is in the home.
I could be useful to you in so many little ways, Robbie.
Yes.
It was all so easy for the famous Robin Barker. Family money, Oxford education. Why not become an MP, darling? The family would be so proud. I don't think he's ever had an original thought in his entire life.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about everything since Reg died. Well, I've had more time. We need to get the country back to more straightforward values. Don't think I'm becoming intolerant, but permissiveness hasn't achieved much, has it? Do you know, I read a rather good piece by Victoria Gillick the other day. I used to think she was just a crank, but now I'm not so sure. I'll send it to you.
Lord help us.
I think I should be going.
Are you sure you'll be all right?
I'm all right, Robbie. I'm tougher than you might think.
I'll get your coat.
I shall follow her.
Me and my shadow.
I'll see you shortly. I don't think your mother will be inviting Tim down now somehow.
No.
You'll think about what I've said, won't you?
Would you like me to call you a cab?
I can manage, Robbie. It'll all be for the best. You wait and see.
I'll see you soon, Beatrice.
Goodbye, dear. Everywhere I go, something reminds me of Reg, you know. I can just see him, standing, looking out of that window.
I'm here, Beatty, behind you.
Goodbye.
Think about it.
Nice gesture. You must appreciate that.
Your cynicism produces a dull ache in me.
You know you're not capable of any such thing.
I don't know how you live with yourself.
What now, do you think? He could cut his balls off now and send them down to my mother by post. She'd like that. And let's face it, he wouldn't miss them, especially once he's ditched Tim. So, what will he do you think? Sit and read some more constituency business? Go into the bedroom and watch telly? He might fall asleep. Gay MP in Barbican Love Nest. Ah, action. Telephone. Who's he ringing, do you think? Oh, the suspense is killing me.
It's unfortunately too late for that.
Shh.
Hello, Frank.
Who's Frank?
Frank Kellaway, his agent.
It's Robin. Look, would you ring me as soon as you come in? I need to talk to you urgently. I want to resign.
Well.
Good for him.
He'll never do it. You wait and see. He'll never go through with it.
David looks at Marty, then at Robin, sitting with a telephone